Hey everyone, this is Curtis at bullyblogging.com. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I decided to do this video today to talk about you and your neighbors and how you guys get along. Um, in as much as you have dogs and terrible dogs, which we all know is not true. But a lot of people's perception is that bully dogs are vicious, terrible killers. And so I wanted to ask you today, how do your neighbors treat you? And suggest a couple of ways that you can ease the tension with your neighbors and your dogs if you have problems with them. Here's my tip number one. Tip number one, if it isn't already too late, be friends with your neighbors. It never hurts to be friendly and courteous. It could only add a feather in your cap and possibly give your neighbors less reasons to want to not like you. So be friends with your neighbors, if not just for your dog's sake, but it's also good to be friends with your neighbors just because it's good to be friends with people. Secondly, most of this work, the process of keeping your neighbors off your back when it comes to having your dogs, most of it has to do with you and your dogs and the way in which your dogs are kept and raised and trained. Let's say, for example, you got a dog as a puppy. You would want to definitely make sure that this puppy is trained to not be a nuisance to your neighbors. That is, excessive barking, digging, etc. So let's say there was a small fence dividing your yard and your neighbor's yard. You would actually want to make sure that your dog doesn't dig in between there. Maybe to put a hole under the fence and things of its like. That would make your neighbor upset with you. Some neighbors are really good, but other neighbors are really touchy. So you gotta be careful when you have your dogs that they don't dig. The process of training your dog not to dig your yard is definitely begins from a puppy. That you can get through to your dog or your puppy earlier in his life. So when you have a new puppy, let's start the training right there and then. Okay? Dig prevention. If you catch a dog digging, be firm. No. Okay? Go. That's one way that you can help alleviate problems between you and your neighbors. Barking. This is a very touchy topic for me. Dogs should bark. They have a natural instinct to want to protect, so they should bark. I happen to feel that bully dogs are not barking, terrible barking dogs, and that's simply because they're more visual dogs. They want to see stuff, and so you may have dogs that bark all the time, but in my opinion, bully dogs are not high on the list of dogs that do a lot of barking. When it comes to barking, again, if you acquired your dog as a puppy, that's when bark training should begin. Okay? Some people, I have seen it. I'm not a big believer of it, but I've seen it work for some people pretty well. Some people use bark collars or shock collars. Not my favorite. I guess the toss-up here is, should you use a shock collar as opposed to should you lose your dog, or should you have caused conflict, with your neighbors because your dogs are barking? Well, this is stuff that you should have considered before even getting to the point where you do have a shock collar. But if you do, and it works for you, write in to my site and give me give some advice on it. I've never really used it, even though I've seen it work pretty effectively. The thing with shock collars is that if you have a kennel of 10 dogs, then you have to get 10 shock collars. Because what I have found is usually in your kennel, when one dog becomes a barking dog, he or she encourages the other dogs in your kennel to bark. So the best time to curb barking is as a puppy, okay? If you acquire a dog as an adult that's a barking dog, you will definitely have to work with that dog and make sure the dog understands that it's not okay to bark for everything that moves, okay? And the third point, which I think will be my final point as far as not aggravating your neighbors, or maybe not, but maybe, is also how you dispose, how you clean up after your dogs, how you dispose of your doggy poop. See, if you have 3 dogs, for example, even one, and the dog poops in your backyard every day, and you don't clean up after your dog, it is going to leave an odor that not going to be friendly to you or your neighbors. I could easily see people getting angry with you, even your good friends getting angry with you, if you don't pick up after your dog, because it smells and it's not a pleasant smell. So if you want to keep your neighbors on the good side, 1, train your dogs from digging. 2, train your dogs from barking to prevent them from barking. And 3, pick up after your dogs. I have a really useful article on bullyblogging.com that talks about making your own doggy poop composter. Check it out, okay? And do that. The last but not least, I'll make that for this topic today, is the topic of just general dog management. One of the best ways that I have found to manage a dog is to walk your dog. Take your dog out to the park and let your dog run. Let him out of the pen. Let him run. Let him burn some energy. Burn up that excessive energy that he has that makes him want to be hyper. And in the process of walking your dog, he'll poop and he'll pee. So there's one less poop pile for you to clean up. One less thing for your neighbor to have to deal with. Okay? When you run your dog, you take him out, he poops and pees, and you throw the ball or a stick, and he retrieves it and brings it back and forth and back and forth. He's burning up some of the energy that he needs to release so he can be a calmer dog when he comes home. Okay? Why am I saying this? Because I have found that these are the things that have worked for me. Okay? I live a little bit out in the country, and so I can take my dog out in the woods and so on, twice a week, 3 times a week, and run him, and swim him in the pond, and so on, to get some of this energy out. I've had dogs with different temperaments. Some are very, very hyper. I've had dogs that are laid back. But I've found that exercising your dog work really well in all of these situations. If you bring your dog home and he's dead beat, dead tired, he'll probably sleep through the night, or most of it, maybe probably not bark at all, and a good run could probably last him for 2 or 3 days, so make sure and work your dog out, run them, make sure they're exercised, pick up after them, teach them not to bark, and clean up after them, and I think we should be alright, okay? Remember, the size of a yard should mostly dictate how many dogs you have, okay? So you can't have 10 dogs in a lot. There's going to be some problems, okay? So take care until the next time. Peace. Have a good day.